What's up, everybody? We're with you live from WOD Studios with KBR Sports, the best in college radio. Um, our actual host isn't here today, so we're here today in replacement. We're running the show.
The loonies are running the show.
Hey, the people that's full of stuff to say. Brendan not here to keep us level. It's all access. But today I'm gonna be your host. I'm Rashad Pennell. Let's start with my co-host to the right. Well, actually, he is the co-host. I'm a co-host as well, but co-host to the right, Khalid.
What's up?
Hey, Brendan ain't here, so
For good old times.
What's good old times?
It's Mr. 1201 over here,
Hey,
aka Young Lid, aka Mr. Khalid Lewis.
and then my co-host to the left, the great Rudy Henderson.
Number one Sebastian Telfair fan in the land. We are the Commanders now. I am your captain. Brendan, you shouldn't have done this.
Hey, we got a lot of topics to talk about today, though. But before we go to that, how's everybody doing? Everybody doing well? Everybody doing good?
Doing great. Texas scored a big upset over Oklahoma. I'm feeling amazing.
Hey, we gonna get into that. I like that. Hey, but for everybody watching, you also make sure you listen in on Rabble. Listen on Rabble TV. You can listen on Spreaker. We're on iTunes. You can also call in and join us if you want to. It's 757-683-4405. You can also post in the comment section. Post on our Twitter. We'll make sure to get back to you on the show. Post in the comments. Make sure we're there. We're there. Yeah, tweet or anything. Hey, we're always here for you. If you want something to get a part of the show, join us. We're all more than welcome. But the topics for today, fellas, we have the NFL draft combine, and it was an interesting draft combine. So whose stock actually rose and dropped from the combine? We got March Madness coming up, NCAA tournament be ready soon. We have all of these top teams losing, all these random teams winning. So who's everybody's favorite going into the tournament? Like it's just so we're gonna get into that. And then we have the Oklahoma City and Golden State Warrior game. What kind of game that was? If you missed that, then I don't know what to tell you. That was a game you want to see. And then we have the Steph Curry ankle injury and the Draymond Green locker room tirade. So are those weaknesses for this Thunder team if Steph is not playing or if the locker room is dysfunctional? So let's get first into the NFL draft combine and whose stock increase and decrease. So it was an interesting draft combine. We got to see a lot of these players who we assume were going to be the top picks. We got to see how they're going to do, how they can perform. And I've actually have some interesting things coming out of the topic. But before we get to me, I want to know, Khalid, who do you feel like from the draft combine, who do you feel like didn't perform well or just didn't perform at all, or who actually was better?
Well, I got a note right here with a couple of people who I feel like stocks decreased. Got Ronnie Stanley. He apparently posed average numbers for the 40-yard dash and then low numbers in the agility drills, and he's an offensive lineman. So that definitely hurt his draft stock, and it just wasn't good performance for him. Another person that just didn't show up as well was Michigan State star quarterback Connor Cook.
Connor Cook.
Repeatedly missing receivers and just horrible performance for the combine. This is just a couple of my some of the bad ones.
Any good ones?
Plenty of good ones actually. Surprisingly, my man's Darren Lee, a defensive lineman running 4.47 on the 40-yard dash, and on the broad jump he got an 11.1. 11 feet and wait. That's how you go. Well, 11 inches and 1 centimeter. I don't know.
We're gonna go with feet.
I
hope it's not inches.
Yeah, I hope it's not inches.
Nah, that's not. And another one, of course, Jason Spriggs. He performed. They expected him to perform explosively, and he did his thing. Will Fuller, wide receiver, he did better than expected with ball and handle skills, and he got a 4.32 on the 40-yard dash, but didn't a 10.6 on the broad jump. So those are some of the great performances that were showcased this weekend.
All right. What about you, Rudy? Who you got? Your winners and losers.
All right. I'm going to start with some winners first. I'm going to go with Shaq Lawson from Clemson. putting down a 4.7 as a bigger defensive end. He's definitely a 4.3 defensive end, not a 3.4. Some of these new hybrid guys are, but with 22 sacks coming out of college, being able to put down that 4.7, that's real good for him. Leonard Floyd out of Georgia, he's a 3.4 outside linebacker now. He's got great size. We're talking 6'6", 250. Really long guy. He jumped I believe a 37.5 or 39 in the vertical. He ran a 4.6, put up some really good numbers. But my biggest winner was actually wide receiver, and it was Josh Doxson. Josh Doxson, going into the draft, they had him with a second-round grade just because they didn't think he was fast. They thought he was going to run into the 4.6 range, wouldn't be able to jump. But you watch all of his tape, and the guy is as they were calling, a combat catcher. All his catches are contested over people and whatnot. He runs a 4.51, and he jumps close to 40 inches in the vert. So he was a huge winner to me. Losers, I'm going to have to go with Darunya Wilson. One, because of his name. Two, how would your mom name you Darunya? You're a wide receiver, and you ran a 4.9. He ran a 4.9. He's a 6'5" wide receiver, and his vertical jump was like a 28.
Oh no!
It was a horrible showing for him.
No.
He might have just jumped his way off of the draft board.
we need that pro day. Quick.
Mississippi State, I'm gonna need you to go get him with the best trainers you can, because that was horrible. And then one that may not be as popular to others, I was not thoroughly impressed with Joey Bosa. I did not think he showed himself to be the best player in the draft. You ran a 4.8. You're trying to sell yourself to the Tennessee Titans as a 3.4 outside linebacker. You got to run faster than a 4.8 if you want to be an outside linebacker. These tackles these days are running 4.8, so you don't want to get caught. Yeah. You don't want to get caught by Laramie Tunsil. I'm telling you, don't let them get them paws on you.
See, now I agree with you on this Joey Bosa going down, because he's one of the people I felt like didn't perform well. Yeah, I'm not gonna say overrated, because I mean, when it goes with the combine, it isn't really dictate where you kind of go for the most part, because I mean your talent level shows where you go. Mm-hmm. But his combine, it was completely average for a number one player. And in the mock drafts now, he dropped to 6.
It was pedestrian.
He went from one really top pick to number 6.
Yeah,
that's crazy. Like Rudy said, he ran a 4.86 when he was telling everybody, like, oh, before going to try to run a 4.7, I'm gonna run a 4.7. I can play any technique. No team runs a 3.4. I mean, no team runs a 4.3.
Yeah, not rarely. You're talking about like the Bears.
He's more of a 3.4 package defense, and even then he's too small for the position to run it. But that's kind of like where you're looking at, because now they went him to drop back in coverage, play linebacker position instead of using what he's best at, which is his hands, is explosive against those tackles and everything like that, or through the line. So you look at that, you look at his numbers, and you're just like, well, you're average when it comes to speed and everything. You're average with your weight. You're not like what history says. You're not elite. So from you to go from 1 to 6, that's a huge decrease in mock drafts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can't compare him to JJ Watt, and then he go out there and run a 4.8.
Yeah,
that's something that you can't do.
It's hurtful. And then also this one's kind of controversial. Mm-hmm. I have Cardell Jones as a drop.
No, I agree with that. I do, because he didn't get the throw.
He didn't get the throw. His 40 time was okay. I mean,
for an athletic
quarterback, it was in. I was expecting more like a 4.7-ish range. Mm-hmm. He ran a 4.83 on his first one. Then he ran a 4.85 where he got injured at. And this is what with his injury. He injured his hamstring. Leg injuries are a killer in the NFL. Mm-hmm. You injure your hamstring, and now you're expected to have a pro day in 2 weeks. From an injured hamstring and be able to go in 2 weeks. You couldn't finish your NFL combine, but you're gonna be ready to go in 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. So seeing this as a quarterback, now he comes with that package, like, all right, he just had an injured hamstring. What is the chance of it being hurt now when he goes pro? What if his pro day isn't good enough because he couldn't perform well at the combine because he couldn't perform at all? So that if he has one bad day, then that's a tremendous drop. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. He might not even be looked at as one of the quarterbacks even taken until like late in the draft.
Undrafted free agents.
I think somebody noted that medical issues may be like one of the biggest things that's gonna hurt people's stock draft.
I gotta mention something else. Dropper, sadly, this is gonna make me real sad saying, but a huge dropper over the weekend was Jalen Smith, from the linebacker from Notre Dame. He might be the most talented person and one of the most athletic people in the draft. and now they're talking about he might not even get drafted due to that knee injury that he suffered in the bowl game. The bowl game, though, he made it all the way to the bowl game before he went to the draft and got hurt, and now he might not get drafted as arguably the best outside to middle linebacker in this entire draft class. That's just sad to me.
I mean, that is crazy because you come into the season, you playing, you're a first round pick. Your top pick, and then last game of the season, you go out.
Yeah, they're comparing his knee to Lattimore.
Yeah, but see, here's where I see it's different than Lattimore. Lattimore had it constantly. Lattimore tear every ligament in his knee.
Lattimore
3
take
times.
his kneecap off.
That's how bad it is. So, this injury was significant, but at the same time, you still got to take your chance on him because when he recovers, how great he can be.
Oh yeah, some team's gonna get a steal. They pick this guy up in like the 3rd or 4th round. You're gonna get a guy that you could have had to pay millions for the cheap. So, is there anybody that you're looking out for today? Because today is the last day of the combine, and I think today could be a huge money day for Jalen Ramsey. I think if Jalen Ramsey goes out there and puts the numbers down, he could be considered the number 1 for free safety.
I was thinking the same thing. I was thinking, you got Jalen Ramsey last day. He needs to go out and get his draft stock up because right now he is a top 5 pick. Because it's more so because the teams need him more so than what he's been doing in the combine. If he can impress tremendously today, it carries over into let's say he do participate in a pro day or something like that. Let's say his interviews start getting a lot better. Let's say everything leads up perfect. I can see him going maybe as a free safety, but at the same time, do you really want to, move him as a free safety when most of the times, he played free safety a little bit, but most of the time he's a predominantly corner. And and then if you think about what the Titans need,
they need corners and free safety.
They need corners, but don't y'all need linemen as well?
Well, the thing with the Tennessee Titans is they've spent the last 3 or 4 years drafting offensive linemen. They need veteran linemen on that line. The rookies aren't working out now. Now, don't get me wrong. Laramie Tunsil has done enough for me as a Titans fan to say if we pick him number 1, I'm grinning. I'm laughing to the bank because now we can move Taylor Lewan, our first round pick from a year ago. We can move him to the right side, and we have our 2 bookend tackles for at least 10 years. But if Jalen Ramsey can go out there and post some numbers, I'm talking about 4.4 40, talking about near 40-inch vert, and we know his coverage skills are amongst the elite in this draft class, free safety and at corner. That is a huge position to need. That's where the Titans got burned arguably the most, was in that horrid secondary. Then they released Michael Griffin, who was their free safety. So now you have a gaping hole at free safety, and you could go into free agency and you could fix the offensive line through there and get Jalen Ramsey, or you could try and take a chance and try and sign an Eric Berry, who's probably going to get tagged if we're being honest, or a Reggie Nelson from the Browns, and then draft Laramie Tunsil, or hopefully trade it to the Cowboys.
See, here's where I feel about Jalen
Titans
Ramsey.
trade the Cowboys.
This is how I feel about Jalen Ramsey. What if he comes out kind of like Morris Claiborne was, projected to be great, and then because think about it, he may put up these great combine numbers, but can we guarantee that it transitions over to the NFL level instead of getting somebody who's basically size and speed, kind of like your lineman in the drills? We see they can move, that can do their job a lot easier. And like you said, you can establish for 10 years. But you're taking a chance with a corner who may not be able to handle the physicality or something like that. Yeah, granted, 40-inch vertical. Granted, 4.4 speed to keep over everybody, but and
he has the good size.
He has
6'1", I think,
something like that. Yeah. Nice little weight on him too. So you think about it, he has on paper he has it, but can you guarantee a corner transitions over to the NFL level easily as some of these number 1 tackles would be going? If you're going number 1 tackle, number 1 corner. Yeah,
and Tunsil is looking like the best tackle to come out in a very long time. Like I said, I'm not mad at all if the Tennessee Titans decide to take Laramie Tunsil. Is actually the responsible thing to do, and that's the first time I'll be able to say about the Tennessee Titans in a long time. Other than Marcus Mariota, they haven't been very responsible. Yeah. So the most responsible thing for them to do would probably be to take Tunsil, but it's always a guess in the draft. So guys are always going to put up these great numbers. Look at Deion Jordan. He put up the great numbers. Everyone's like, hey, we can turn him into something. And does he even play in the league right now? A guy that I feel like that this year's DeForest Bunker. the defensive tackle from Oregon. He is the classic adage of looks like Tarzan, swings like Jane.
Yeah.
He is not gonna be that great, but he has everything you would want for him to be great. And that's the problem with these first round picks is that you pick these guys based on what they could be.
Yeah.
Where when you get into the second, third, fourth, and fifth rounds, that's all actual talent. That's where you make your team. You make your team in rounds 2 through 5.
Yep.
You try to get your stars in round 1.
Which more times lead to a bust.
Yes, most of the time leads to a bust.
All right, I agree. And then for my up player, because I never really said my up player, my up player is Ezekiel Elliott. And let me tell you why. He came in. Yeah, everybody's talking about Derrick Henry, talking about what Derrick Henry can do. Derrick Henry's size. Derrick Henry running a 4.5. But Ezekiel Elliott ran a 4.47. I think he's a lot more explosive than Derrick Henry. His hands are bigger than a lot of linemen. Majority of the linemen this year, his hands are bigger. This is his hand size compared to him and Henry. He has a 10 and 1/4 inch hand size.
It's huge.
Henry has 8 and 3/4. So that's significantly bigger. He also came in with 56 catches for the season. Derrick Henry had 11
for his career.
Yeah, he
didn't catch that many.
So when you look at it, the way the NFL game is going now, a lot of people are starting to pass the ball more out the backfield. A lot of plays are starting to come out the backfield more than just handing the ball off. And Ezekiel also did better in his interviews by saying he doesn't really care about touching the ball. He takes more pride in his blocking, which is what you need. If you're going to bring in a running back, you need to make sure he can block for you. He says he's a 3-down back at all times. No matter what the situation, he's a 3-down back. He can go out for passes. He can block well. He can run well. He's very explosive, which I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look at his carries, he's averaged 6 yards a carry. Derrick Henry averaged 5. He's more explosive. Derrick Henry had to get his yards by getting an insurmountable amount of carries this season.
Yeah,
so
used all the way up.
Yeah, so like usage rate was like
he's like the toothpaste tube when you squeezed everything out of it and he's all curled up.
So it's go ahead.
My bad for interrupting you, but I think another thing that definitely hurt Derrick Henry's whole draft stock was his poor 3-cone performance. It was definitely below average.
Yeah, that's where you're like confused. Like he did some stuff well above average,
great,
and then he had some stuff that was like, But at the same time, all eyes were on Derrick Henry because Alabama running back, 6'3", 240, 247, which he was surprised he was at. He wanted to play 240, 242 range, so he came in overweight according to him. Technically, in the NFL, it's kind of what I'm saying. I mean, you're running a 4.5. You're 4.5, right? You're running a 4.5 and you're 247. So I mean, there's no complaining there.
See, and that's the thing that I'm going to give him a little bit of slack on now. No, don't get me wrong. I agree with you on Ezekiel Elliott. I think he proved that he is the best running back in this class. But Derrick Henry actually, because I was on the negative side of Derrick Henry.
Yeah.
From the entire season, I have not been on the Derrick Henry train.
Yeah.
And then when he went out and jumped to 37 and ran a 4.5, I was like, oh, this guy's really athletic to be this huge.
Yeah.
And then when they were getting into the passing drills, his hands were way better than I thought they were. They just don't throw
don't throw the ball.
They just don't throw him the ball. But when he had a lot of passes thrown behind him, Connor Cook, he had a lot of passes thrown behind him and whatnot. And he was actually making the catches with his hands. He wasn't trapping in with his body. But overall, the wide receiver class and the running back class has been very disappointing. Like the wide receiver class was really slow. If you watched it, like there was 2 4.3s and the rest was.
Speaking of 4.3, with the 4.31, Keith Marshall.
Oh, Keith Marshall went from maybe a 7th rounder to jump into at least like the 4th round.
Like that's crazy. Like he's now in the talk about the top running backs now because of his 40 time. Like you're being compared to Chris Johnson now, and it's just crazy. But we got to move on. So now we got this college basketball with all these top teams. Hey, Future said it best. But here's the list of over this past week since our last show of all the teams who lost. Number 1, Villanova lost to number 5, Xavier. Number 3, UVA lost to number 12, Miami. Number 3, Oklahoma lost to number 25, Texas. Number 5, Xavier lost to number 3, unranked Seton Hall. Number 7, UNC, we just lost to number 3, UVA. Number 8, Iowa lost to unranked Wisconsin and lost to unranked Ohio State.
Yeah, they're on a slide.
Yeah. Number 9, Arizona lost to unranked Colorado, and number 22, Utah. So they're on a big slide. And number 10, Maryland just lost to number 20, Purdue. So the only teams in the top 10 who didn't lose was Kansas, who plays Texas tonight, which could potentially be
9
another
o'clock.
loss for them,
At Texas,
and
get up Austin.
and Michigan State, which has been one of the fairly consistent structured teams this season.
Yeah, since they got Denzel Valentine.
Yeah, since Denzel Valentine came back. So with all these teams, all these top teams losing, you just don't know what's going to happen in the tournament this year. So who do you guys see as like the team that can finally get it together to make this push for the national championship? Kyle, let's start with you again. Who you got?
Right. I know Rudy was a little excited just now, but I'm gonna go with Kansas because I feel like they're hungry. I feel like they're very hungry for that championship, and I feel like this may be their time to get it. They've just been winning basically, and just been going undefeated. They've been having some shaky games, but I do think they can overcome some of the best teams that's out there. Like Texas tonight, I think they might give them a good game. Texas will give them a good game, but I think they may overcome them.
Really?
As much as this feels like a hot blade being pressed to my ribs, I will have to agree and say that I'm going to go with Kansas and Michigan State because, like you just said, they've been two of the more consistent teams. And Kansas, they have an 80-year-old power forward called Perry Ellis.
Man, eighth-year senior out here.
Yeah. Perry Ellis with the receding hairline is definitely the senior leadership on the team. Wayne Selden Jr. has been able to step up. The point guard Frank Mason from Richmond is actually he's very, very good, very overlooked because he's a shorter guy. They have a very deep team and they have a great coach. So usually when you have a combination like that, like you have the Izzos out there and you got the Patinos out there. When you have a great coach and you have a great core, you can usually go far. But do not take me the wrong way. I am not counting my Longhorns out. 4 wins against the top 10 this year, most in NCAA. They are a dangerous team, and they're getting Cameron Ridley, arguably one of the best centers in the nation, back for March Madness. So I'm not counting them out by any measure. They're just going to be my dangerous team to watch.
See, this I don't know. This Kansas, both of y'all saying Kansas, I don't know. Because Kansas has looked shaky too at times.
They have.
But I mean, every top 10 teams look shaky. Mine is I've always came in. I was always coming in like UNC was the most stable team there was, but then they come out and lose EVA. Every time I say they lose. Every time I say I see UNC being the team that can make that run, they lose.
Take a vow of silence for March Madness and they'll win.
I'm not gonna say nothing. I'm just gonna be like this, just watching. But right now, because of the slump UNC's on, the two teams I see as the most structured to actually make a run right now is honestly UVA and Michigan State.
Mm-hmm.
Now, see, I can't really go into who I see the Final Four is because we don't know who's going to be what side of the bracket where they're going to be at.
Yeah,
but in the region,
somebody usually gets a death bracket.
Yeah, like you get stuck with like Kentucky, Duke, because they're gonna be low seeds this year. Like Kentucky, Duke, they're gonna be low seeds.
Someone is gonna get Kentucky, Duke, Texas,
all of them in one bracket, in like one region, and you're like, I gotta go through all of these, and that's championship worthy right there.
Yeah.
So you have like somebody's gonna get stuck in there, but I see Kansas making it to like a Final Four, but I don't see them. I can't see them winning at all. They have the most complete team.
Yeah,
I think they have the most. Them is between them and Michigan. They have the most complete team. Because they're both a team full of seniors. Team full of seniors that understand how to play well with each other. Been doing it for a while. Both under great coaching. So you're just looking at like, man, who can really stop these two teams when it comes to playoff time? But that's when I look at UVA, and I'm like, okay, I see you play. I see you just beat UNC, but you just lost to Duke, and then you just lost to Miami when UNC just pulverized Miami
by like 40.
So that's why I don't understand these teams. Like, how can you beat one team but can't lose the other team when relatively Miami and UNC typically kind of play alike?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just like, I don't understand what goes on in these games now, in these college games. So leading up to the tournament, I just think there's going to be no perfect bracket this year. There's going to be no perfect bracket. No, if anybody has a perfect bracket, you're amazing. You're amazing for doing it any other years, but doing it this year is definitely amazing because you're about to see like
the most unexpected.
Like you said, Texas might be in the Elite Eight this year. So
don't count us out.
And they're only get credit being 25 right now. So they
It's,
should.
it's a crime against humanity.
So
I've been screaming this all year. You can ask Rashad. I've been screaming this all year since the UNC win. I've been screaming that this team has been being disrespected. If Shaka Smart doesn't win Coach of the Year, someone's getting a letter.
Hey, for the looks of it, the way the rank is, they ain't doing it. So that's why I see Michigan State, I see UVA, I see UNC if they can get their act together.
Yeah, throw that
And
in
nobody sees the reigning champion Duke Blue Devils making any type of run.
No, their
At
team
all?
is their team is Grayson Allen or bust. I'm not confident.
That's how I feel. It's
Yeah,
like,
I'm not confident in Brandon Ingram at all. He's supposed to be a quote unquote Kevin Durant type, but his shot has
Nope.
not been going down. All they have to do is run into a team that's going to look at them like, yeah, Grayson Allen, you're not scoring, and they're going to get mollywopped. Not even lose. They're going to get mollywopped. It's going to be bad.
And if LSU gets in, I can see them if they get in.
They could upset somebody.
I can see a huge upset coming from LSU.
What
Every
do you-
time they play a top team, they're impressive.
close. They're
Yeah,
close. What do you think they need to do to get in though? They did just get the win against Florida.
Yeah.
So that helps. How far in this SEC tournament? Because they're gonna have to win some games. In the
You
SEC
gotta
tournament.
win.
They only got 17 wins, and they
You-
have some bad losses. In
You
there.
got to beat Kentucky.
You got to be Kentucky
You
again.
got to beat Kentucky.
So they got to at least get to the semifinals because Kentucky's not getting knocked out before the
Yeah,
semifinals.
No.
You don't think if they could sneak in and win against a team like Texas A&M that could push them over? Because Texas A&M was ranked very high for most of the
They
year.
were, but like get them over the hump. Because right now they're the first four out. So
All they need is somebody in that first four in to take a bad loss.
You need to take a bad
win.
loss and for them to get in. But you also need to have good wins as well. Like Ben Simmons isn't. It's not like he's trying to get the wins for this team. It's not like he's not like he's turning it on like we need him to.
I mean, we're really close to this. Like I just realized looking at Texas' schedule that this is the second to last game that they play tonight. Their last game is on Wednesday, and then we're getting ready for Big 12 tournament. It's coming.
Yeah, so
the excitement is building.
So teams need to start tightening up right now because this is your last chance to make that push. You got to build that resume up right now. Those teams in the first four out, last four in, keep building your resume because it's gonna be a one random loss that comes because it happened in all season. One random loss where it's gonna cause you to be out the tournament.
You know who a resident sleeper is, and I can't believe I'm gonna say it, but resident sleeper to me this year is gonna be Louisville. They can sneak up on somebody. Their team, you're looking at the schedule like Louisville. Did they even do anything? I saw them the other day. They got like over 20 wins.
No, didn't Louisville put the playoff ban on them this year? They banned themselves.
Oh, they banned themselves. Yeah, because if they were playing this year, they got over 20 wins. They have a team.
That's a nice team. Like under Rick Pitino, they're an excellent team. They're especially when it comes to the tournament.
Mm-hmm.
So you see if they were able to play. You see that Louisville team possibly could make a run if they were still playing in the tournament.
Some of these best teams.
Yeah, like
so. I have a question for both of you because I feel like we're disrespecting an entire part of the nation here. No mention of any Pac-12 or Western teams at all. No UCLA, no Arizona, no mention. I'm just saying we're disrespecting a whole side of the nation here. No Oregon, no Oregon State. Gary Payton Jr. He's looking like a pretty good player.
Yeah.
We got Arizona, UCLA. San Diego States, all those. We haven't mentioned any of the Butlers, the Gonzagas of the world. You see what I'm saying?
Well,
that's where this tournament's going to get wild.
It is.
Yeah, we did mention Michigan State though, so I mean, some of these people just haven't been as noteworthy as some of the other in some of the other divisions and stuff like that.
Yeah, I got you. We didn't mention SMU.
Those actually been playing kind of decent.
They're ranked number 23. They can sneak up on somebody too. Larry Brown has had that team running very good since he got there.
Yeah.
I'm starting to think of all these teams in my head as we're going along. In this tournament, like you said, there will be no perfect bracket. There's no way of calling. You're gonna get a matchup between an SMU type team and a top seed like a 1 or a 2, and the SMU team might be the better team. The Texas or the Duke or the Kentucky might be the actual better team, and that's what's going to be really crazy. I just hope and pray that Texas does not get put in the death bracket. Put them in the cupcake bracket.
You gotta keep winning, man. Hey, Texas gotta keep winning. Hey,
yeah,
big win tonight.
Yeah, I really
big win in the tournament, and y'all set for a nice bracket. Nice little.
Yeah. I mean, right now they have them at like a 5 seed, which is
not
really
bad,
high. Yeah, so it's pretty high. They can get that one against Kansas tonight, and then go. That's the thing about the Big 12 tournament. That's a road. There's nowhere you turn. Oh, we got Iowa State tonight. Great. Next week you got Baylor. Okay. Oklahoma, fine. Kansas.
It's no. you have potentially the best offensive player in the game on Oklahoma.
Buddy Hield.
But what's going on?
When they start missing threes, they lose. And the host that's usually here, Brendan, we talked about this a minute ago. When Oklahoma, I told him when Oklahoma starts missing their 3-pointers, they're going to be a fairly easy team to beat. When they played Texas on Saturday, the Oklahoma was winning. Buddy Hield dropped 24 points in the first half. They looked like they were unstoppable. But then Texas, started playing their version of the Havoc defense and started making people not named Buddy Hield start shooting threes. And when they started missing them, Texas went on a 22-0 run and ended the game on a 25-5 run and beat them by 13. So I think that's a major key. DJ Khaled. Major key. I think that's a major key for teams looking at Oklahoma going to the tournament is look how Texas played this team to make the other guys shoot. Because if Oklahoma starts missing threes, they don't have anything else. They can't go inside. You really think Ryan Spangler is going to win you a game? Ryan Spangler?
And that's where it is with some of these teams. You have like the Dukes, you have the Grayson Allen only. You have like the Oklahomas, you mainly have Buddy Hield. You have the LSUs, you have your Ben Simmons. You eliminate these players, and you're focused on players like Quarterman carrying the team. Focused on like Brandon Ingram, who's not even playing like he's supposed to be playing, carrying the team. Like Plumlee, you got Plumlee leading the team when Grayson Allen is not performing well. So like
scowl of busy ears.
So. It's just crazy because it's so many teams can play better for other teams when it comes to matchup wise. That's why there's no solid team this year because every team can't handle everybody's matchup. But going on to this matchup talk, this Golden State Warriors Oklahoma City Thunder game, where everybody was talking about this is probably one of the best matchups for the Warriors. And watching the game, and you're looking at it, you're like, oh man, the Thunder might have their number. And then it comes down to Iguodala hitting 2 free throws to take the game to overtime. He's like a 76% free throw shooter.
But he has ice water in his veins.
So knocking down 2 free throws, taking the game to overtime. Then you have Steph Curry, who scores 12 points in overtime, hits a 30-footer for the game winning.
And what was it? I mean, 6 of a second?
What, 0.6 seconds left?
6 seconds left, yeah. The best part about that was if you looked at the Thunder's bench, they weren't even surprised. Ennis Cantor was standing there like, are you going to guard him?
Like,
as soon as he crossed half court, Ennis Cantor was like, are you going to guard him?
Klay Thompson was like, man, I'm not even surprised anymore. Like, none of this surprises me.
I mean, Kerr didn't even call the timeout because he knew. He knew. He's like, I mean, I got the best shooter in history on the court. What I need to call timeout for? Honestly, they were smart. I just would have fouled Andre Iguodala again. That's all. I would have put somebody in the game like, look, tackle.
But see, the score was tied though, so you couldn't really foul because then.
Here's the thing: you tackle Andre Iguodala, he makes one, misses one,
and you get the last possession.
You get the last possession, and you can put it in the hands of KD or Russ.
Okay, so here's some of the stat lines. Steph Curry had 46, 12 for 16 for 3-pointers. He broke his own NBA record with 24 games to go for 3 points made. He this past week he also broke Kyle Korver's old record of 127 straight games, 128 straight games. Hitting the 3 in the game. He broke that record this week. Right now it's at 129 straight games. Klay Thompson scored 32 in this game. Durant scored 37, but he fouled out in overtime in the first minute of overtime. Draymond Green was non-existent other than his 14 assists, 14 rebound games.
Yeah, but that's still a double-double.
It's still a double-double. He could easily have a triple-double. Non-existent. So, looking at these players, like, looking at this game, what was the mistake Oklahoma City made, starting with Rudy? Like, what do you see was wrong with this game?
The mistake was letting Steph Curry lace up his sneakers before the game. That's the problem. There was any other team, Oklahoma City plays any other team the way they played Oklahoma City, they win. Literally, they play pretty much any other team in the league the way they played against Oklahoma City, and they win. This is a matchup where 2 of the best 3 players on the court are on the other team for Golden State, and Steph Curry just decided he wanted to turn on hero mode in the fourth quarter so he could just win this game. And he was just so nonchalant about it. It was just like, oh, let me just hit this 3. Then he hurt the ankle, came back on the hurt ankle looking like a young Isaiah Thomas, and started drilling more threes. Exactly. So I don't want to say there was a mistake made. I mean, the one mistake I would say is towards the end they started playing that sort of weird prevent let's hold the ball and take all outside shots offense, and they went like 0 for 6 in that span. So if anything, I want to say they stopped attacking, which is I would never thought I would say that and Russell Westbrook in the same sentence.
Right.
But yeah, they stopped attacking towards the end of that game. So maybe next time they play, they should remember when you have a team like Golden State, you don't take your foot off the pedal. When your foot is on their throat, they can like reverse it and then put a knife to yours because they can come back. It's the same thing last year when the Pelicans had them in the playoffs, up by 20 something. Everyone's talking about the game being done. And now we have the footage of Steph Curry hitting that 3 in the corner and getting destroyed by Anthony Davis. And then winning exactly and winning the game. So that's a team that you just can't let off the gas pedal. You like if you want to call it running up the score, that's what you got to do.
You got to call it.
Rude bring up a good point. That outside shooting that the OKC does. Late game, you can't be doing that. You gotta give Russell Wilson the ball, make him attack the basket because he can get through or he can draw a foul. So either way, he's gonna score a point or get some points off that attack. Y'all can't rely on the perimeter shooting at late game times for most of your points. I mean, Kevin Durant's a great perimeter scorer, but at times like that, you need quick points. You need points that are definitely guaranteed that will not leave the ball in the hands of Golden State, and that's where the problem lies. Like when Golden State gets the ball in those last couple of seconds, and Steph Curry knows he's gonna make a shot. There's no need for him to call no timeout because he just know he's gonna make it.
12 for 16 for 3-pointers, man. You hit.
He basically pulled up from the
thunder. My man got his ankle hurt, came back into the game and scored 31.
Like that's incredible. Like who can really stop this man, Steph Curry? Like it's not been done. I saw on Twitter, it was like a tweet. It said, "Dear NBA, this is the only way to block Steph Curry." And someone had blocked him on Twitter, so it said Steph Curry's been blocked. That's the only way you can stop that man.
I mean, if you take your whole starting five and you put them in a circle around him, maybe
he's still going to hit the 3.
Yeah,
he's like, circle, y'all gave me too much space. I mean, you shot 12 for 16 for 3, and it's not like the first time he's done something like this. He's done it again when he had the 51 point game.
Yeah, against Washington.
So you just like,
and that was against John Wall.
Yeah, and you're looking at like which is actually a pretty good defender,
great defender actually.
So you're just like, what's it going to take to stop Steph Curry? Ever since the All-Star break, he's averaging like 35 points per game. Every game, like it's they have one loss. They have the one loss to the Blazers where Damian Lillard scored 51, but also Steph Curry scored 31, and that was his lowest score I think since the All-Star break. So you're looking at it like, what's it going to take to slow this guy down? Klay Thompson's playing better. Klay Thompson's averaging about 27 over these since All-Star break. You're looking at like, what's it going to take to stop them? Durant had 37 points. If he fouled out, would have been a different story. I mean, Steph Curry was on a tear. Steph Curry was on a tear, though.
Possibly, but you are talking about Kevin Durant going out in the very first minute of overtime and then losing on a game-winning shot. There's a possibility if Kevin Durant's in that game, they're up in that situation. So it could have made a difference, but I'm not going to live in the world of if ands, or buts. What happened was Steph Curry drained a shot from basically half court in this man Robeson's face because he decided he wanted to give him 1 foot of space. He literally gave him like 1 step worth of space, and he pulled up from like essentially the Thunder logo.
Who are you telling? Like like the half court circle, you have the circle around where people. He was just past that.
Yeah, and just decided, well, this is good enough.
Like I don't have time. You have 3 seconds. You have 3 seconds on the clock. I don't got time. So we see this game. We see Oklahoma City Golden State come down to a close game again, but they lose. So can we still say this is the best matchup for the Warriors?
I mean, or is it?
Yeah, go ahead.
I feel like they still may be because as we've seen, the game was very close. They did go into overtime and it did end on a game-winning shot with Kevin Durant out in overtime. So I do think they're a great matchup. I just feel like they need more. They need help in other places. You see the way the Golden State Warriors team is set up with Andre Iguodala, Draymond Green, Steph Curry, and Klay Thompson being the main, like all of them scoring at least 15 or some points, minus Draymond Green this game. Well, a couple games. But they've all been efficient scorers for the whole season, and they've been putting up the points that they need for the team to get like 120 points.
Okay.
So I think that OKC need somebody that can take the weight off of Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant. Like you said, late game they just started throwing up those perimeter shots. Like Russell Westbrook, he wasn't attacking the basket. Maybe he felt like that. Maybe he got a little exhausted because he felt like he kept attacking the basket so much that he needed a break. So he had to shoot from the perimeter. But if there was more people, there was more viable shooters or somebody that can take the load off of the scorer from Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook. I feel like the team will go so much further and maybe have a chance to beat the Golden State Warriors in like a 7-game series.
This is a trick question. There is no chance of beating the Golden State Warriors in a 7-game series. But let me just try my NBA 2K math to try and beat these guys. The only two teams that really have any shot of even winning a game or two against Golden State are the Spurs and the Thunder. That being because, like we said earlier, the Thunder would have two of the best three players on the court. The Spurs are just they're the Spurs. You always have to give them the respect. They're literally the Patriots of the NBA. So the only thing, like Khalid said, they need somebody else that could be on that perimeter and help them shoot. Losing Joe Johnson to the Miami Heat was huge because had they been able to get Joe Johnson, that could have helped. Joe Johnson's a veteran in this league. We all know he can shoot. Joe Johnson is still able to take over games if he wants to. The only chance they have now, I think Kevin Martin is being bought out by the Timberwolves. They could get him maybe coming off the bench to try and hit some threes and add some scoring. But as their team is constructed right now, this is the best chance you have of winning a couple games against Golden State. The key for any team playing against Golden State is you're going to have to beat them at Golden State, and it hasn't been done, has it? Aren't they like 25-0 or whatnot?
Is it?
Last time I checked, they haven't lost at home.
I think they.
And that's the thing. If you want to beat Golden State, you're gonna have to beat them at home. If Oklahoma City could beat them at home and then make a homestand for themselves, that's the only way. But I don't see it happening. I don't. I'm not even gonna bring the Clippers into this discussion because come on.
See, I agree with Brendan here. Brendan, I'm finally agree with you. You're right. Every time the Clippers and the Warriors play, it's always a close game.
Mm-hmm.
It's always a close game. But just like all these other teams, they can't finish the game. So why can we sit here and say the Clippers aren't a good matchup? Because every time they come down, it's down to the wire as well. But the Thunder can and the Spurs can.
You know why we can say that about the Clippers? Because the Clippers have a history of letting you down. The Clippers have a history. The Clippers have a history of showing you how great they can be, and then they're going to get into the playoffs. They might get to the second round. I say might because they're going to have a tough matchup in the first round. What are they, like 4th, 5th seed?
Yeah,
they're going to have to play Dallas, or the Trailblazers, or I'm going to say Memphis for now because they're a placeholder.
Mm-hmm.
But
they're a placeholder 5th right now.
Yeah, they're a placeholder right now, but. If they make it to the second round, they're going to be playing a heavy hitter. They're going to be playing a way better Spurs team than they played last year. They're going to be playing a Thunder team that they didn't even get a chance to play last year, or they're going to be playing the Warriors. So there's no easy road for the Clippers.
There's not, but I still feel like that's the team that makes it close, though. Every time they play, it's never a blowout.
I'm still going to lean closer to the Thunder as being a team that could beat Golden State over the Clippers just because the Clippers – I don't know what it is. I literally look at the Clippers and their team that they're always missing something, but you can't put your finger on exactly what they're missing. And then they're going to have to take DeAndre Jordan out of game. So there goes your shot blocking ability because although Blake Griffin does play good defense, he's not going to be able to play the same amount of defense because if he fouls out, you're done.
But, I mean, technically, when you see the Warriors play, even their layups go up quick.
Exactly.
They're backdoor cut. So technically, blocking the shot isn't something that happens against them often.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, even in your mind, if you're Blake Griffin, though, if I go to block this guy's shot and I foul him and I foul out of this game, if Blake Griffin fouls out in a game against the Golden State Warriors, do you really think the Clippers are going to win?
I mean, if you look at the last game they played without Blake Griffin. And I mean, granted, usage rate of Chris Paul was way up.
Yeah,
but the game was still close. The game came down to the fourth quarter. So I mean.
Oh, so are we saying trade Blake Griffin?
No, I'm not saying trade Blake Griffin.
Trade Blake
Griffin. I'm saying if he falls out, they still have a chance to win because the way the team's been accustomed to playing without him anyway already, they can just make that adjustment.
Well, yeah.
But I mean,
Chris Paul.
Yeah, it's
and you know what they're gonna do? They're just gonna be like, okay, well, since Blake Griffin's out of this game, Draymond, go Go ahead and get on Chris Paul.
Mm.
And now you're going to have to rely on the rest of that band of players to win them a game against the Warriors. You trust J.J. Redick and Austin Rivers and DeAndre Jordan to beat Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and Andre Iguodala and Harrison Barnes and Sean Livingston. And I'm naming people because they're all relevant on this team.
They are, but they almost do it every time. They just can never finish the game off. All these
almost only counts in horseshoes.
Match up with them with that small ball, but the Warriors just got to meet with it.
But like we always say, almost and close only count for hand grenades and horseshoes.
Hey, you're right. So, all right, going into the last topic, what exactly is a weakness? Because we saw in this game with Oklahoma City, we saw when Steph Curry went out, they couldn't close the lead down. They couldn't bring the lead down. They were down by 11 going at halftime. When Steph Curry finally came back, it was a 7-point game because of 2 free throws. With his injuries, we see the team is vulnerable, and also with this locker room tirade, which happened with Draymond Green at halftime, where he's basically said that he's not a robot, that he was going to miss shots, and everybody trying to tell him to sit down. He's like, "Yo, come sit me." We see there. He's and Steph Curry is like, every locker room has negativity in it. Mm-hmm. There's always stuff going on in everybody's locker room, even ours. So does the negativity hurt them? Like, would that eventually be down the road when they're down in an important game? Would that be the reason they lose?
I don't think it hurts them just because I think it makes them human, and I think that them being able to acknowledge that they have it brings another dimension to the team, because this isn't something like it happened and they're like trying to cover it up, like, oh, nothing ever happens. It's all smiles here at Golden State, but no, they acknowledge that it did happen. They acknowledge that things like this do happen. And it just shows you that even a team that loves each other as much as them and meshes as well as them are going to have arguments and whatnot throughout the course of a season. When it comes to playoff time, I don't see these guys really arguing because they're going to mesh together very well. As far as a weakness, I will say when Steph Curry is gone, this is not the same team, because when Steph Curry was gone and they played the Mavericks, they lost by 20.
Yeah.
So when Steph Curry's gone, I like to put it this way. This team is filled with people that know their role. You know how people say you got to stay in your lane? Everyone on this team stays in their lane. You just don't realize it because they work so well together. When Steph Curry is out, it's filled with a whole bunch of people that have to come out of their lane, and it becomes a little bit weird. This isn't like the Russell Westbrook, Kevin Durant, James Harden situation where James Harden was always ready to come out of his lane. Mm-hmm. Like, James Harden went to another team and became a star. You put Klay Thompson on another team, he'll score. He's not going to be a star.
Because the thing with 32, like scoring 30 points a game isn't nothing you do on a nightly basis like he does there. Because you have like Steph Curry and stuff to pull pressure off of him. So you pull Steph Curry off, you're forcing him to become a star.
Exactly. And when James Harden was the sixth man for the Thunder, he would consistently get 20-something point games and was talking about he should be a starter, and everyone was saying he should be a starter.
Yeah.
The thing with this Warriors team is as soon as you pull Steph out of that, you're making someone else, Draymond or Klay, have to be the guy that everyone looks to. Yeah, and that's the problem. This team is filled with everyone that is in their own lane, and Steph makes those lanes mesh together into a great highway. Once you take that away, you got a whole bunch of one-lane roads trying to become something else. They have enough talent to win games with him out, but if he's out for an extended period of time, they will probably lose their series.
Tyler, how do you feel about it? What do you feel like is their weakness?
One thing that you said I want to bring up is Steph Curry's ankle injury. What ankle injury? My man's was playing on the ankle like he was just good and just new, just brand new. Come back and play 30 points. One thing that Rudy definitely hit the nail on is that without Curry, they're definitely not the same. Like, Curry balances out the team to a point where everybody, like Rudy said, everybody's in their lane, everybody's playing their role, and they can be the Golden State Warriors that we've seen. Without Curry, that may be their biggest weakness. If they lose that one person, everybody's gonna focus on Klay Thompson when he's shooting. They're gonna focus on hurting Draymond Green, or taking on Andre Iguodala when he's when they on the court.
Mm-hmm.
Without Stephen Curry, everybody else is focused a whole lot more. The team I'd say that the team isn't as efficient as it should be.
Mm-hmm.
with the talent that they have, and just they know that without Steph on that court, that that the other team can play at a level that isn't that not going to be overshined by Stephen Curry.
See, I feel like both of them affected though, because okay, Steph Curry ankle injury is an ankle injury, but I mean that was an injury. Now he has weak ankles. It's more so his ankle stepped on while he's coming down. So I'm not really worried about his ankle injury being too severe. But I kind of feel like because here's the deal with the locker room. Draymond Green was threatening not to shoot the ball at all in the second half. He went 0 for 4 for 0 points in the first half, and he was like, "All right, I just won't shoot the ball no more." So if he's serious to that, and he gets the ball at the 3-point line wide open, what's he gonna do? Pass it away? I mean, you see stuff like that, that's negative. That's poisonous players in your atmosphere because you just can't get along. So how can that not affect when times get rough down in the playoffs?
I think it's kind of like thank
you, appreciate it.
I think it's more so like a younger mentality type of thing. He got upset because he was making shots when people was like that he should be making shots, and he went 0 for 4 first half. He's gonna feel emotional about that because he's still a young player. He hasn't had too many games where he has been gone 0 for 4, and it probably hurt his ego a little bit. And he's getting mad in the back, like, yeah, I'm not a robot. I miss shots and stuff like that. And I'm not the only one on the team that missed shots or something like that. And he just needs to find a calm, collected, and kind of mental space that he can just stay in when he's in this game, so that none of this like missing shots don't affect him or falling off blocks, something like that. Like he just needs to stay in a calm space every time.
Okay.
I agree. I think it was a reactionary comment. It was something that we could go to the SRC and start missing shots and be like, man, forget it. I'm just not gonna shoot no more. You got upset, but we're saying I think we're taking a situation and we're blowing it up way more than it needs to be. He probably said that he was upset. He was mad that they were losing. But then when he applied himself to doing other things, he got a double-double with rebounds and assists. Yeah. That is just as essential as scoring 15 points. Yeah. Like you literally helped get 30 points. You just helped get 30 points or more because they shoot a lot of threes. So you just helped get 30 points, and you just got 14 rebounds. So you stopped the Thunder from getting second chance points, and you gave your team more opportunities to get the ball. So yeah, he got upset. He said he wasn't going to shoot anymore. But I don't think this is something that happens like every day in their locker room. I think he was just frustrated. He was really pumped up because the team that they were playing was a primetime game. They were losing by a good amount at one point. They were losing by 11 at halftime, and he probably felt, that's four most likely threes because he takes those like top of the key threes. Yeah, if you're looking, that's 12 points. Yeah. He makes his threes. Not saying he's 100% shooter, but he's probably thinking, I make these threes. We're only down by 3. We're only down by 2. So he's probably a little bit frustrated with himself. I don't think that's something that happens a lot. And Steve Kerr is the type of calm, cool, collected coach that probably talked to him on the plane ride home and was like, "Look, simmer down. We know that you're not the best shooter on this team. Mm-hmm. We know that we're not looking at you to have 30 points tonight. We're looking at you to play great defense and get rebounds. When you score, it's a bonus. And that's the luxury of this team. They have so many options that can score. Draymond Green could score 8 points in a game and they blow somebody out by 30.
It's because you have everybody else. They have your bench coming in scoring. That's what makes the team so dangerous.
Still efficient on defense.
Exactly. As long as he's still playing defense. And then that's another thing is people are going to say, oh, well, Kevin Durant had what 37?
Yeah.
And Russell Westbrook had a good amount of points.
Where's 23, 26?
Exactly. Where's the defense? Sometimes playing great defense, guys are going to score 30, but it's the shots that you make them miss that count the most.
Exactly. Coming down late in the game.
Exactly. Because LeBron James had one of the best finals performances in history against the Warriors last year, but there was still some good defense being played on him. He could drop 40 points in a game and you still play good defense. He could have went for 80.
I agree, but fellow ladies and gentlemen, this wraps up the show. This is KBR Sports, the best talk radio. Always make sure tune in on YouTube, tune in on iTunes, Speaker, Rabble. We're always here. We're always ready to talk sports with you guys. Make sure to follow us on the Twitter page at KBR_sports. Also, subscribe to our channel and the WOD Studios channel. Ours is KBR Sports, and there's the WOD Live. You also find other great shows on the WOD Studios. Anything I'm forgetting, fellas, to say? Anything I'm forgetting?
You said I-
Sebastian Telfair is the greatest point guard to ever
there you
play.
go, yes, again. Even without all the pieces, we still gonna be here.
Hey, we were always gonna be here. We always gonna make sure we can talk. We know,
We're like the Warriors.
Hey, we're still gonna be undefeated, even when it comes down to Western A. No people. I mean, even though they ain't undefeated, but I like to say we undefeated out here.
We're essentially better than the Warriors. We're like
Yeah.
the greatest version
We
of the
haven't lost
Warriors
yet.
in talk show.
But yeah, this is KBR Sports, best in college radio, and we're out of here. See you guys.